Greetings. Today I will talk about the final weeks of Columbus's first voyage, in which he saw mermaids, or what he thought were mermaids, and established the first Spanish colony in the New World. After leaving Cuba, the captain of the Pinata, Martin Alonso Pinzon, took off on his own. Pinzon apparently had undertaken a voyage with Jean Cousin many years earlier. Cousin, a native of Normandy, had sailed to the west coast of Africa in 1488. During the voyage, a fierce storm blew up, which drove Cousin's ship off course. When the storm cleared, the explorers stood off the coast of an unknown land. They sighted a large river entering the sea before making the return trip to France. Many historians think the river they saw was the Orinoco River, which enters the ocean on northeastern coast of Venezuela. Pinzon had been insubordinate during the voyage, and at the voyage's conclusion, Cousin dismissed him for mutinous conduct. He retired from the seafaring life. Many historians think he spent time studying the Viking explorations that took place in the 10th and 11th century. When he heard of Columbus's quest to reach Asia by sailing west, he met Columbus and joined him in his efforts. Many think it was Pinzon's influence that finally convinced the monarchs to finance the expedition. When the king and queen expressed reluctance to finance all of it, Pinzon provided much of the remaining funding and two of the ships, the Pina and the Nina. He also helped convince many of the crew to enlist on the voyage. The two men got along fine during the voyage. Historical lore intimates that it was Pinzon's advice that led Columbus to change course, allowing him to find land. However, the relationship became contentious when they found land. When they left Cuba, Columbus charted a new course, which Pinzon ignored, sailing off on his own. Columbus had decided to sail south, which led to him completely missing Florida. He was searching for the legendary Chinese city of Zayton. The city was allegedly filled with gold and spices. Columbus believed that this city was south of his location at Cuba. On January the 6th, the lookouts of the Santa Maria and the Pinta sighted each other, and the two ships joined again. Pinzon had captured some natives, which he planned to take back to Spain. Columbus objected on the grounds that since he had claimed the land for Spain, the natives were now Spanish citizens and had to be treated with honor. He compelled Pinzon to release them, which he did reluctantly. Pinzon's actions led Columbus to distrust him, so he decided to begin gathering supplies for the return voyage. During this period, Columbus and his crew sighted what they thought were mermaids. He described them thus: "We distinctly saw 3 mermaids which rose well out of the sea, but they are not so beautiful as they are said to be, for their faces had some masculine traits." Columbus returned to Hispaniola to gather supplies and help the men he had left there. On January 16, 1493, after assuring the stranded crewmen that he would return, the ships in which he saw mermaids, or what he thought were mermaids, and established the first Spanish colony upon my book, Colonial American History Stories, 1215 through 1664. Martin Alonso Pinzon took detail about the events. The book is the first in a 7-volume series. The book includes contains almost 300 native of Normandy had sailed to the timeline that begins in 1215 with the signing of the Magna Carta, a fierce storm blew the first Bible in colonial America off course. When the storm cleared, the explorers stood off the coast of an unknown land. They cited a large sample chapters, excerpt before each of my 130 titles, as well as links to purchase the books at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple, and many other online book retailers. While you're on the website, please subscribe by registering your email address and the subscribe button. When I post something, usually 3 to 5 times weekly, you will receive an email. The post includes podcast episodes, YouTube videos, as well as other content, including the publication of a new book. You can also purchase books direct from me. Residents of southeastern Indiana can find my book at Batesville at the Walnut Street Variety Shop on George Street. The podcast will also appear in a video format on YouTube on the Mossy Feet Books channel. Subscribe to the channel for more great content. I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and thank you for listening.